properties. One at Pentland Hills up in Leicester, which now has free and clear zoning approval to proceed with the construction of 67 affordable homeownership units. And another site in Black Mountain for 60 homeownership units. The majority of these will be available to families earning 80% or below the area median income. So much gratitude, really appreciate the ongoing collaboration, and very much appreciate staff and your consideration of loan deferrals to help properties that are struggling with financial impacts due to Helene. So here to answer any questions, but just very appreciative of the commitment to housing as part of our long-term recovery.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And that is great news on all fronts about the new apartments coming online. We'll look forward to a groundbreaking. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during public comment? And I believe we have a printed public comment from Cassidy Moore at Habitat for Humanity that we will take a look at. All right. We have meeting minutes to approve from February.
Move to approve the last meeting's minutes.
We don't have to have a second, right? Since it's only 3. Kurt, do we have to have a second on the minutes since there's only 3 of us?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Move. Minutes passed. Thank you for that reminder. I will try not to forget.
Unless you want to change your rules of procedure.
We can always change those, but for now, we have to have a second on the minutes. Thank you. All right, I think we will move into new business at this time, and that is a review of committee bylaws and membership expansion. We asked our staff to come back with some recommendations at our last meeting, and Jonathan, are you taking the lead? Great, thanks, Jonathan.
So this is a continuation of the conversation from the last meeting. And just sort of as a reminder, this committee was formed by an action of the Board of Commissioners in February of 2019, appointing 3 commissioners to this body as a subcommittee with the purpose to engage community partners, solicit public input, and make housing affordability policy and funding recommendations to the Board of Commissioners. And then in 2023, the bylaws were adopted. And then after last meeting, the motion was approved to remove the district representation requirements for the committee. And part of that discussion was consideration of expanding this committee's membership to 5 members. So working with legal to look at what those next steps might look like. The process would be for this committee to make a recommendation to the full board to include other representatives, and then amend the bylaws as needed to accommodate that change. In consideration of that, it's worth noting that this body would no longer be strictly a subcommittee of commissioners, but by including resident members, it would serve as sort of a mixed board, serving in more of an advisory capacity. The Affordable Housing Service Program guidelines would also need to be revised because there are some provisions in there that provide this committee with authority to make some changes to funding recommendations, specifically loan payment deferral. So the Affordable Housing Committee is authorized to make decisions on loan payment deferral that would affect loan payments, which would be would represent county revenue. So as a subcommittee, you all have that authority that would then involve resident members in the future and might need to be adjusted if that change happens.
And is that impact tied to who sits on this board versus who might sit on it in the future? Or is it tied to, like it says in the bylaws that
I think the reason they would want that change is right now, the commissioners, you all control the PERS more or less.
yeah.
And that if you added 2 advisory citizens, you would basically be giving up that or altering that power of the purse, whereas the commissioners are under North Carolina general statute, pretty much dictate how the money is spent.
Spent.
And so having two community members, while their input is valued, they do not have the statutory authority to dictate how the money is
Yes.
spent or to do that.
I got you.
kind of- Or grant loan deferrals or not.
Okay.
And the other thing that I just wanted to add to that, just so that you all know, when this subcommittee was formed, there was never a resolution or any type of really guardrail set as to what's the purpose of this committee. You know, they just said that, you know, we're gonna appoint 3 commissioner members and they'll serve on this committee. So I think that if it does go back and we do want to expand it, we would want to have that resolution and maybe get into a little bit of the detail about this board and some of those other details. So it would be more of a formal advisory committee as opposed to just a subcommittee reporting back to the commission.
Anything else, Jonathan?
Any questions?
I guess, Madam Chair, the only thing I think what's most important in this moment to me is just kind of moving as quickly as we can to advertise the slots if the full board so does decide to. Just so we, that takes a while.
Right.
We want to give public time. We want to look at the applicants, all that. That's all, that's the only thing that's,
Okay.
definitely want to iron out all of the, everything else, but.
And I'm assuming that if it goes back to the committee, that the commissioners as a whole would be anyone who serves on this committee as opposed to the subcommittee itself. If you put this on. Right, because that's the one of the things you could amend your bylaws or possibly you could appoint, this committee could appoint, but that would be a little hokey since you don't have
Right.
kind of that enabling resolution from the commissioners. Or you send it back and then you have kind of that enabling resolution as to what this committee can do. And it's possible the commissioners could delegate that authority, but I would feel better having the full commission sort of say what this committee does and then move forward with that. That would be.
Okay. So if we were to choose to move forward on an expansion, talk us through that process with the AHSP and the changes and what that timeline would look like in conjunction with the changes that we're discussing making.
So I think from a process standpoint, the sample action would be a recommendation to the board to consider expanding the committee. I think at that point, they would open up the applications and we'll have a window of opportunity to revisit the policy recommendations. This committee weighs in on those, so we would bring them to you and then those would go to the board. So it should all kind of happen around the same time, but I think we would want to wait until we knew the full board's position on expanding the committee, and then that would kick
Okay.
off any necessary amendments to the program guidelines.
So I think that would be basically an agenda item that gets added. Whether you want to have that go to briefing or just go straight to the commissioners, we would have a resolution prepared for you. Recommended, just like any other new business, that would come before the board of commissioners.
Okay.
I would assume probably instead of consent agenda, maybe discuss it so we
It would
can
need to be discussed.
elevate it to the public as well.
My hesitation today is around the loan deferral payments and the role that we play as commissioners in those funding decisions, and adding additional members. Gives me a little bit of pause to think about what that would look like for us.
Because theoretically, 2 of you aren't here, and you have the 2 other citizen board members, you
Right.
could almost have the unelected people making funding.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Kurt said that in
Yeah.
a much
Yeah,
clearer
okay.
fashion than I did. Thank
Well,
you.
that would be the thing, right? Because you
Yeah,
expand it to 5, you're gonna have 2 citizens, so quorum would be 3, so technically if 2 of you aren't here. I think that would be our biggest our biggest concern.
So we could rewrite it in
Yeah.
a way that,
Are there other committees that deal with this problem and have a solution that we could replicate?
So
I'm looking
I
at
don't think that
DK.
have that kind of authority. I don't recall that are not statutorily.
they never started out as just.
Right, right.
Yeah, Kurt is correct. Good afternoon, y'all.
Hello.
The other committees make recommendations and the full board makes the funding decisions. So an edit would have to be made to this committee's authority so that they don't have authority to make those funding decisions. So if you
So we
all
make
decide, if you all want to move, or vote to move this forward to the full board for expansion, I work with Kurt, but maybe it could also include potentially changes in the,
Resolution for creating the advisory. We could also then have the amendments to the ASA policy also at the same time. So we could try to have everything done at one time. If that's what the board desires.
yeah. That's what I was thinking, that we don't
Okay.
have to wait and come back if that's not the
Yeah.
desire of the committee. We could work to do it all together. I think it complicates it a little bit more, so you may want to do briefing and then board
Yeah.
if you add all
I
that
agree.
together.
So we could do the briefing on the 18th. Or I guess it would be no, because we need to bring it back here.
Oh, we have to bring the guidelines back here,
Uh-huh.
The guidelines.
or the
The recommendation.
recommended guide, HSP guidelines.
If the board can change the program without your weighing in, I mean, they could request that you weigh in, but you're participating, because
That's true.
it's a subcommittee currently of the boards. I don't know that that step is necessary,
Okay,
for them
I
to
agree.
consider.
okay.
We
That's a good
could
point.
package briefing on the 18th to explain all of these items to the board and then bring it forward for the next official
First
meeting
April.
for a vote.
Okay.
That'll be April 1st, I think.
Yeah, the three of us don't need to talk about this here and in the briefing.
And in the briefing,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It can be
Yeah.
packaged, part of the briefing, discuss it, and then vote on it on the April 1st. That's right.
If you all take action today to do
Yeah.
that. then we could.
Okay.
And I know you'll be, okay.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to recommend to the full Morgan County Board of Commissioners that we expand this committee to 5 members, including 3 county commissioners plus 2 resident citizens. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we need to do a second motion to recommend the changes to AHSP? Or is that understood?
I mean, once again, it's a recommendation.
Okay.
So if you want a record, we make that recommendation now. Don't do something.
Yeah. I'd rather be official with it. We have a motion.
Yeah, I'm just trying to form what I'm going to say. I will make a motion to recommend to the full county commission that we amend this committee's guidelines to be consistent with a committee, quote unquote, a Buncombe County committee rather than a subcommittee of the county commission.
Okay.
Is that too vague?
Well, I think it's really. I guess the point is that we need to amend the authority for doing loan reports. I don't know if you just want to say that we would recommend that the Board of Commissioners rule on it. I don't know who you want to be
Yeah.
making the decision on the loan deferrals. I don't know if you all want the full board, you want to create a subcommittee. I don't know if we're ready to come.
I think we go with the full board.
That's.
Yeah.
I think we go with the full board, not another subcommittee.
Okay.
Do you want to make that?
The full board as in
As
the
the full
full
board,
county
also the
commission
commissioners.
board. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
And then the guidelines
Oh,
that the full board.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to recommend to the county commission that we amend this committee's guidelines for the purposes of changing making financial decisions or making loan deferral decisions. And that those powers be deferred to the full county commission.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for those motions, Commissioner Sloan. Do we have them? Are we good? Okay. All right, thanks. So we make some changes. We'll get that moving. And I do agree that we'll bring those to the full commission to get scheduled interviews once we have those folks in line who want to serve. Jake, are you ready to talk about Tropical Storm Helene and AHSP considerations?
Of course. Can I have the pointer? Yeah, I'm ready.
You're ready. He's always ready.
Good afternoon. A few weeks back, we reached out to our grantees to see if they would be interested in any contract modifications for their open grants through the Affordable Housing Services Program. In our last meeting, we sort of walked through the committee's decision authority and came to you all to get some recommendations on how to proceed with what we learned and the answers to the questions we got from our grantees. Here we have a table. So anything in blue is a modification to the current contract. Anything in gray, the grantees turned down any modifications. The two big components was a contract extension to June 30th of 2026. These contracts would have typically met their end date in June 30 of 2025. So we're giving them an additional year to do the work. And then we also offered them a reduced deliverable. And that came from us taking the program's maximum amount and dividing that and dividing their award amount by that maximum. So for example, if we look at Habitat's award at that top row, they originally proposed that they could do 82 houses with $574,000. We took the program maximum of $25,000 and reduced that deliverable to 23. And they wanted to take us up on that offer, and that gives them the ability to invest more deeply in each home without this, without like having to worry to hit that initial deliverable, that pre-Helene deliverable. So that reduced deliverable came from both Habitat and Poder Emma. Our other open grants did not want to reduce their deliverables, but we do have contract extensions for Habitat, Poder Emma, Mountain Housing Opportunities, United Community Development of North Carolina, and Elida Rental Assistance, which was an FY24 contract that got extended to the end of calendar year 2024, but due to the storm, they had delays and would like to extend the contract so they can finish drawing down on the amount they have left. We also asked if there were additional requests they would like to make to you all. One comment we got both from Habitat for Humanity and Poder Emma was changing the emergency repair program maximum from $25,000 to $50,000. And in that change, there would be no lien requirements. So no matter if the repair is $5,000 or $50,000, a lien wouldn't be put on the house. So in this next slide, we can sort of see how the emergency repair program is structured now and written into the AHSP guidance, where we say repairs at $15,000 up to $25,000 are secured with a forgivable loan, the lien. And it's a 3-year lien, so $15,000 forgiven the first year and then $5,000 every subsequent year. If they choose to sell the house to an income eligible homeowner while the lien is there, that lien can be adopted by the income eligible homeowner. If it is not an income eligible homeowner, that would have to be paid to the county. So the modification would be we sort of get rid of that paragraph for Helene affected homes and adjust the threshold from $25,000 to $15,000 to $50,000.
So if there's no lien for the home, then transfers to a affordable,
Non-income eligible.
non-income eligible resident, the loan does not need, it just doesn't need to be paid. It's just swallowed by the county cost.
Exactly.
And then if lien were to stay and the home is transferred to a non-eligible resident, who pays that lien? Is that the
It would
existing
be
resident or the new
the
resident?
existing
Existing
resident.
resident.
That's typically why we don't see any repairs exceeding $14,999.99. People, all our providers just fly right under that and try to avoid the lien altogether.
25,000 maximum was created.
I think it was revised, if not last year, the year prior, correct, Matt?
Yeah, the maximum has increased steadily over time because the cost of repairs have increased.
Yeah.
At one point it was 10,000, I think then up to 15, and now we're at 25. That's investment.
Any further questions?
Any other questions? All right. We have a potential recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Yep. I'll make a motion that we amend the Affordable Housing Services Program's emergency repair program provisions to allow homes with lien-related damage receive a support as a new maximum assistance of $50,000 per unit for lien-related damage repairs. And within that, no lien required for lien-related damage repairs.
A second.
Yes.
Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then just to clarify, sorry to go back. Were there any objections to these changes with extensions or reduced deliverables? One thing to know is that we will have to go back to folks who wanted the $50,000 max, and their deliverable could be reduced even further with that new max. So just want to make sure y'all know that.
And those would be specifically limited to homes that were impacted by.
Bye.
Thank you.
I think this is one of those times where reducing the deliverables because of an unexpected natural disaster makes sense. All right. We're going back over to Jonathan Jones for one-time payment deferrals related to Helene impacts and response.
So this follows from the last item and last month's discussion. There are 5 Affordable Housing Service Program loans that would have payments due in fiscal year 25, 4 of which are MHO projects, and then Jasper Apartments, which has a cash flow loan and has not been determined yet whether or not that would generate enough income to require a payment. As you all requested, we reached out for more information from MHO about the 4 projects that they were specifically requesting deferral on. And so the first was the residences at Glen Rock, and they have reported that there was damage to the first floor at 408 Depot Street, impacting that property and requiring that they move residents out of that location, and are working on doing substantial repairs on that development. They have requested to defer payment on that loan with the goal of reducing the impact of the storm, the reduced rents. They imposed a self-imposed eviction moratorium to help keep folks stabilized, and also not requiring rent payments on that property. So the staff recommendation would be, due to the ongoing impacts on revenues and expenditures as a result of Helene-related damage, staff would recommend deferral of the loan payment with the final due at the balloon payment. The other 3 projects, Eagle Market Street, Larchmont, and East Haven, all of these MHO reported that there were economic impacts, some minor damage to the properties that they have been addressing, and their stay on eviction has reduced revenues and increased expenses managing those locations. They have also requested deferral of payment. And the staff recommendation would be that both Eagle Market Street and Larchmont, that those payments for fiscal year 25 would be extended to the balloon payment. And East Haven has a different structure on their payment that is $7,500 a year. And so that would be increased to $10,000 in fiscal year 30, 31, 32, and 33, which would basically just extend their payment schedule out for those 4 years to make up for that deferred payment.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, sorry, can you explain I don't quite understand why the Jasper is based on a cash flow and it can't be determined as TBD?
So the way the cash flow payments are structured is that if they have sufficient cash flow in any given year, their operating agreement determines how much of that available cash flow will be paid towards the loan. So they may not have the cash flow positive this year, and we just haven't received that information from them.
Okay, so that uncertainty is based on that flexibility.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are you looking for action today? Recommendation?
Yes.
Approval of
Okay.
the
Well, there
recommendation.
is actually, there was supposed to be an additional slide that I'm not sure made it into the
Okay.
updated presentation.
Okay.
But we would request action it would be 2 actions. One for the residences at Glen Rock, Eagle Market Street, and Larchmont because of their similarity of request and just extending their payment or deferring the payment until the final balloon payment occurs. And then on East Haven to reflect the payment schedule adjustment over the 4 years of FY 30, 31, 32, and 33.
So the first motion is the recommendation that payment is due at the final balloon payment for the residences at Glen Rock, Eagle Market Street, and Larchmont.
Correct.
So moved.
2025 payment, and then it started regular payments.
They would continue to make regular
Regular
payments in the subsequent years.
Just this year.
Yes.
Yes, just for this year. Thank you for that.
I will make that motion. As you stated.
Motion as stated for FY 25.
Yes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and our second motion, it's East Haven, correct?
Correct.
That the payment due increases from 7,500 to 10,000 in FY 30, 31, 32, and 33. And that is consistent with prior year payment schedules.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we have more business after announcements. Is that right? We have the CDBG-DR action plan.
That was actually the announcement.
Oh, well, there we go. I got ahead of myself.
So the North Carolina Department of Commerce has published a draft copy of the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funding Action Plan. That is available online on the website that is listed as part of the materials. It indicates HUD has allocated $1.4 billion to address storm-related unmet needs for CDBG-DR. The eligible activities are housing, infrastructure, economic revitalization, and mitigation. And the Department of Commerce is requesting public comment and has hosted a series of events in the community helping explain their plan for implementing the programs associated with CDBG-DR. There are multiple ways online, by mail, fax, or email to submit those comments. and the deadline for that is March 20th. We don't have it included in here, but there was also an allocation to the city of Asheville of 225 million of CDBG-DR funds. And the city is expected to publish a draft copy of their action plan as well. So there will be 2 action plans available for public comment over the next month or so.
Any questions?
No, I'll just note that the only one that was in the area was Atlanta Sky. Commissioner Sloan was there, a number of other commissioners were there. And I believe the county does plan to submit public comment, which we will be discussing
Soon.
very soon.
I have had some folks ask if there's ways that they can help support the county's affordable housing in regards to the $225 million allocation. So as folks are asking that, tell them to please reach out and tell the city to support some of the affordable housing projects that we have in the pipeline that are well within the city of Asheville's city limits,
Mhm.
that there's an opportunity there for a deep partnership with county affordable housing goals and the funds that are available to the city. So for those of you who are watching, reach out as well. Is there any other business, questions, announcements? All right, if not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
We are adjourned at 1:40 PM. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.